So, welcome to Ask Karen for this evening's episode. This is where I interview other members of our groups, hosts on our radio station, hosts on our podcast channel. It gives them an opportunity to share a little bit about what they do, because the label coach doesn't really cut it, because everybody's helping a different segment of society, everybody's solving different problems. So today's episode, we've got Kerry with us today. Kerry, can you share with the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, first of all?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Karen, for having me. So I am a health coach, but I'm also a natural health practitioner. And I love that your branding is all about raising vibration, because that's what I do. But I do it in a way that I use the latest scientific equipment, and I analyze DNA with hair samples, actually. And I get to the root cause of symptoms. So underlying a lot of what's happening in our bodies, and when we get all the autoimmune issues and the chronic illnesses and things like that, most often I find that there is too much acidity in the bodies, there's not enough hydration in the bodies, and there's underlying pathogens. So I actually specialize in discovering what are those pathogens that are stopping us from actually getting to our peak performance, and how do we eradicate those and increase our vibration in the form of food and natural remedies. So there's so much that we can do to the human body to get it up there, but we've got to identify what are the blocks and where are the blocks in the physical body. So I absolutely adore analyzing people with their DNA, because they don't have a clue. I've never met them. They just send their DNA to me, and all of a sudden they can get a full video report of exactly what's happening inside their bodies. So yeah, it's very exciting.
It sounds so high tech. I mean, I often say, if only we could have one of these like scanners, like in Star Trek, come on guys, are you working on this? So you can sort of, because we don't know, right? Unless we do these kind of tests, we're walking around, we feel healthy, we think we're all right, but we have no clue as to what's going on a cellular level.
That's exactly it. When I actually go through the body and have a look at it, I'm looking at musculoskeletal, digestive and immune system, hormones, heart and brain, but I look at the organ, I look at the tissue, I look at the cells. That's what shows up. It's just incredible. So the technology is actually here. The technology is here. And so when I look at that and I see that there's an imbalance happening somewhere, I then look at, is it biochemical? Is there something happening in the biochemistry? Are the cells mutating? Is there something happening in the pathomorphology? So is it a function that is something gone wrong with the function of the body, or the organ, or the tissue, or the cell? Or is it a pathogen? Is it a heavy metal? Is it a bacteria? Is it a virus? Is it a worm? Is it a fungus? Is it candida? What is actually causing that to change, and obviously causing some discomfort and inflammation in our system? So yeah, the technology is here.
Oh, why aren't more people using it? Because the sad fact is that, look, I get it. We all look for a quick fix. Wouldn't it be wonderful to just say, I've got this issue, can you please give me a tablet for it? And that seems to be what we have been conditioned. I mean, like, you'll know where we are, right? But in general, we're all the same. We've all been conditioned to go to somebody, whoever they are, in a white coat, and say, I've got this, can you give me something to stop it? Rather than looking at like what you've just said there. There's so many moving parts. We think we're a machine and treat ourselves. We are so more complex than that. You mentioned quite a few things. The digestive system, the hormonal system, whether it's a bacteria. There are so many things it could be, and quite often, I'm sure you would agree, it's never going to be just one thing.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I think we're so used to treating symptoms. And like you said, life is busy, and so we want the quick fix. We want to treat the symptom, and then we want to move on, instead of getting to the root cause and actually knowing where to focus. And when you know where to focus, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, because it's normally taken 10-20 years to get to where we are. But what I am finding, which is really, really interesting, Karen, is I used to treat 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds. I'm now treating children. I am now seeing I had a 4-year-old yesterday, and the body was covered in viruses, parasites, and all sorts of skin issues and all sorts of things going on. And the big thing is that, it's the food we eat nowadays. The food we eat is really disturbing our digestive system, and our digestive system is really the key to our overall health. It really is the key, and yet we are overworking it and not allowing the body time to heal. And so there are some times where, people are, like you said, looking for the quick fix, but sometimes it takes a month, 3 months, 6 months. But I have seen such transformations in people if they just know where to focus and do the right things. Their life changes. Their life absolutely changes. Yeah.
And what I love about what you're doing, I mean, there's lots of different holistic health practitioners out there, and I'm not putting them down in any way. They're doing the best that they can with the information that you've got. But what I love about what you're doing is you're combining it with actual, because people think, they're just taking they're asking questions and they're making an informed decision. Whereas what you're doing is actual, this is fact. You're testing on the DNA. I mean, it's pretty impressive to get, because you can't work it out if you don't know where you're at right now. I mean, that, I think, for me is what really impressed me with what you're doing, is because, if you think you're here and you're trying to go here, it's a completely different route if you're actually here. So working on the base.
Correct. And that's why a lot of people that I'm seeing, a lot of women come to me and I've got thyroid issues. I'm going, but what is triggering that? What is underlying that? Why are you feeling that? And so often they don't realize, or they never have their liver tested. And although the thyroid produces the hormone, the liver does the conversion of the hormones. Right. So if the liver is not functioning correctly, if there's a fatty liver, if there is an imbalance of the liver, there is going to be issues with the thyroid. And, the liver is responsible for over 100 different functions in our body. So if we don't look after that organ, we're going to see other things showing up. So often, same thing like eczema. I get people coming with eczema. I'm going, but eczema the skin is the biggest elimination organ. It's going to dump. The body's going to dump on the skin depending on what's happening internally. If there's stuff happening internally, it's going to show up on the skin. So why not, let's not treat the skin, but let's go deeper. Let's go deeper and let's see what is actually making the body dump that all on the skin. So it's really not about treating the symptoms, but actually getting right to the bottom cause. And everybody is different, Karen. Everybody is different. It's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing.
So many moving parts. Everybody could have. It's not just going to be your nutrient. I mean, it makes so much sense. Yes, you want the right nutrients in, but also, are you absorbing them? It doesn't matter what you're eating. What are you actually absorbing and utilizing? Then also, what rubbish, for lack of a better word, have you got in there that needs to be eliminated for everything to work properly? And then the other things, like you said, parasites, candida. I mean, all these things, because of, like you say, our diet is rubbish. But I have not got the perfect diet. I know what's good for me, but I, like everybody else, we get busy, we get distracted. I might not have time to have prepped a good meal. That is excuses, right? Because I can make time. But again, it's very easy to get into the habit of these quick fixes And we know it's not right, but it's never a one-time event. It's an accumulative process. It's what you're doing day in, day out over a period of years.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're getting programmed that way.
Yes.
You know, we go to a supermarket, and it's Valentine's Day and there has to be chocolates. And then there's Easter and there has to be chocolates. And there's Christmas and there has to be chocolates. And I'm going, but what about the meaning of those events? What about the family gatherings around? What about the experiences around those events? But we've been programmed that if we're celebrating that event, it's got to be that thing, that non-functional food. That's really what it is. In my terms, I call it dead food, because what we've got to go back to is, if we put living food into a living body, we're going to live longer. If we put the dead food into a living body, we're going to die earlier.
Yeah.
So living food into a living body, we're going to live longer. And unfortunately, we've been programmed to put the dead fast food into the system, because that's become our modern life. But it's so incredible. Yeah. There is so many beautiful things we can do with the colorful, beautiful foods out there. And we feel amazing when we actually do that. And it's not, Karen, it's not that we've got to do that every single meal, every single day. It's really about, are we putting more of the good stuff in? Are we making sure that we've actually got more of the good stuff in? So it's, because some people go, oh my goodness, it's a mountain to climb. I don't know if I can ever get there. I'll just stay in the state of inflammation and pain, and I'll just take a tablet for the inflammation and pain. And I really want to get the message out there. It's not a mountain to climb when you've got somebody there every step of the way helping you. Right. Because it's really about, somebody will be, I'm here, but there's so many health coaches as well. There is so many different health coaches. Like you said, there's so many different natural health practitioners. And it's just a matter of you finding something that really works for you and taking every step of the way with somebody and going, you've got this. You've got this. You can do this. You can break through those habits, because it's also about breaking through, knowing that you have been programmed. It's not your fault. It's actually not your fault. Yeah.
I think that's a massively important thing to say, is because we can speak so badly to ourselves, which perpetuates the problem, right? Because then we feel bad, and then we want to reach for something that's not good because we want that instant feel-good fix. And like you say, I mean, it's the sugar. You mentioned something about the different celebrations, and that takes it out of the physical aspect. And again, it's the mental addiction, because when you're younger, you celebrate, you have birthdays, jelly and ice cream, and all these things is, yes, if I've been good, as a reward, I can have something sweet. So it's not just the actual physical stuff. A lot of this comes from the mental program as well. So I love what you do. If the listeners are out there and thinking, oh, I'd love to, get a diagnosis, I suppose, that's step one. Let's see what sort of, where I am with everything, how my liver is functioning, what my hormonal issues are coming from. How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, my website is there, kerrydell.com, and just send me an email, and it's amazing. I get envelopes with hair samples in them from all over the world, from absolutely all over the world. So it doesn't matter where you are, and you just send me a little hair sample for the DNA analysis, or we just have a conversation. We have a conversation, and we see if we are right fit for each other, and if I can help you, I'm here. I'm really here.
Wonderful. Love that. Well, thank you so much for your time. So do you have any kind of question relating to either yourself or other coaches, health practitioners, on, how to sort of get more clients, how to build your business?
Yes. So my question for you is when do you know it's the right time to expand your business? Like, when do you get that PA or VA, or, when do you take that step and go, okay, I'm overworked and I really need to get a team behind me. But when is that the right decision?
Oh, very difficult one. So I would say for me personally, it got to the stage where I couldn't really keep up with notifications, and I thought I'm missing out on people, and you know what it's like, right? People might send you a message or a DM, and they can possibly see that you're on Facebook, and they might be feeling, well, why hasn't she answered me? And yet, you know, loads of notifications have come ahead, and it gets lost. And I was finding that, you know, this is why some people have this fear of success. It's actually a real thing, because will I be able to cope? And I was thinking, as quickly as I've built my reputation and built my business, I could actually ruin it very, very quickly if I'm not responding. So a lot of people will get to the stage where, you know, they can just about handle everything, and maybe they're not quite ready to make that step. But my advice is, take that jump. Trust in yourself. You don't have to start off with a full-time VA. I started mine off part-time, and as we grew, then we grew. But for me personally, if you have a business and you want to seriously grow your business, any other profitable company, they get help. Nobody does it by themselves. So I would say start small. Even if you started, we can offer VAs for just 10 hours a week, right? Just to do maybe some of the tasks that aren't as, I don't want to say as important, because it's all important, right? But maybe your time could be better spent on doing something that's actually going to maybe bring, you know, actually bring in the money. But there's some other tasks that could be done, that could be taken over by somebody else. Then I would say take that leap, because otherwise you're never going to go to that next stage. Although it can feel a little bit risky, but if there's something that you don't have to have a contract with a lot of these VAs, you can try it out, but take that step, because you'll never know whether you're going to grow. So a lot of it is how you feel, right? It's how you feel. It is a scary place, because, oh, I've got responsibility for somebody else. But start small, and then as you grow, you can take that next step. Does that help?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, to any of the listeners, yeah, if you're interested, I love what you're doing. I love the combination of things that you're doing. We've got to look at this holistic health, and it isn't about the symptom. It's about what is the underlying issue. So working from the inside out. So thank you so much for your time, Kerry, and the rest of you. I will be back with our